It's one big minicab, Bill, let me tell you. And ahead of this weekend semi-final, we are delighted to welcome Mark, Victoria, Jess, Tim and Will, who are just some of the incredible members of the Hear Our Voice choir. Welcome along, guys. So nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Mark, we'll start with you. How was the choir established? When did it happen?
Well, it happened just over a year ago. And how was it established is that, sadly, this scandal, as you know, it's been going on for many years, over a quarter of a century for some people that were first impacted. And unfortunately, that bureaucratic procedure before we can get closure, before we can get final feelings, means that every single day the newspapers are talking about a setback of some sort or another. So I just thought, what we need is to find something where we can get an escape from that, but still have a commonality together.
Always hanging over you, I suppose.
Always hanging over us. So it's nice to have a little positivity, and what better than the joy of music?
And the reaction was incredible from the public. I mean,
Absolutely.
just
They were
unbelievably
fantastic.
beautiful. And you had us all in the palm of your hands. It was just so magical. But it was the first time you'd all met up in person, wasn't it, at the audition?
Absolutely, yes.
How many people in the choir? Because there's quite a few on that stage.
There's a couple of people who had to drop out for certain reasons, but we're basically around about the 40 mark.
Yeah. Like you said,
Well,
big mini cameo.
Who decides who's in the choir? So who's your own Simon Cowell? Is that you?
We have a committee.
Diplomatic answer there,
Because
Mark.
Will,
I like
at the
that.
back there. Will, you weren't part of the choir initially, so how were you roped in?
I love the way you say roped in. Well, when we met, you referred to me as musical director, which I quite liked, actually. I hadn't said that before. But maybe I'll...
Like, that guy looks like the MD.
That works, yeah. Well, no, initially, Mark, who's an old friend through my band, Will and the People, we used to tour in Vietnam, and Mark was out there with us, and he rang me up many years later and asked me to write a song for a choir that he was making.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's cool. And suddenly we're here now and we're going on Britain's Got Talent. So, this is kind of... it's been a bit of a whirlwind, hasn't it? But initially I was just going to write a song. Yeah. And now we've kind of got... we've got 3 songs and we've got a group of people who I know really well, and it's turned into far more than that for me. I feel a part of it now, truly, which is brilliant. Special, yeah.
And just having that connection with all of you, like being together, and the power of music. I mean, it's so powerful in helping you to recover and, trying to just move on a little bit with your lives, right?
Absolutely, it's completely about that.
Because, Victoria, your family lost everything, didn't they?
They did, and the strange thing is I didn't really know about all this until about a year and a half ago when my mum was able to tell me. Obviously, at the time, it was in 2001 when my mum was convicted. We knew something had happened, but I was only 7 years old. My sister was 12. We lost our house. My mum lost her business. Bless my mum and dad, they really worked really hard to keep our family dynamic, and we may have lost our house, but we found another house. But,
it's incredible. That says a lot to them that they shielded you from that stress.
I completely honour that, and I totally understand, because we wouldn't have understood that at that age at all. But when she did finally tell us, it was like, oh my gosh, it was like all these things came to the surface, and I'm just so proud of them, all of them.
Tim, what was it like stepping out into that BGT stage for you for that audition? How was it like?
It's a totally different feeling to the last 15 years, because for the vast part of that we've been fighting against adversity, and a lot of the time we were sort of kept told we were the only people that were going through this. So to step on the stage with 40 other people feeling as a family was like the most brilliant flip turn of that we could stand together and show that this has not driven us apart, it's united us.
And I guess when you have that, everyone has that, everyone's been through something in their life where they get that gnawing feeling when you wake up in the morning, it's there. You guys have had that for, like you said, 15 years, right? It's right there every time you... So, in many ways, when you're standing on stage, like most people get very nervous standing on that stage. I imagine for you it was almost a release.
Yeah. It was the culmination of all the work that we'd put into this together, and there were no nerves. We just wanted to get out there and show how together we were.
And
He's got a lovely voice. I bet you're a baritone, aren't you? At the back?
I'm down.
They've all got lovely voices, I have to say. But the reaction from the audience and the judges, did it just blow your mind? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really felt the support in that room. It was honestly overwhelming.
There's a lot of love in that room for you.
Jess, how was it for you?
Well, when that ABBA song come on, got me going. Oh, yeah, I thought I was on stage.
Like a bit Waterloo.
So you've been through a rough time. So how did the choir help with your recovery?
It put it behind me. Like, we were all in it to have some fun. We've been through so much. Mine's been going on for 16 years. So I was part of the drama series. So my story was featured in the drama series Bates versus the Post Office. And it was just nice to know that I was asked to take part in the choir.
Yeah.
And to be standing in front of, like, how can I say it? I did say it's nice to be standing in front of nice judges and not to be in a courtroom of judges. Like, we're not going to be worried about getting sent down, going to prison or getting hefty fines and all the rest of it. We were there to be happy, and obviously all our families were there. We've made a really big family out of the choir. Yeah. And obviously they're all watching, hopefully. Yeah. So, yeah, we've made a very big family, which we're going to continue. And let's see where this takes us.
Yeah.
I just can't wait for Sunday, because it's just going to be so... It's going to be a very, very emotional day for everybody. But we're going to be happy. It's going to be tears of joy if we have tears.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. How are we feeling? Come on, guys.
Can you reveal what song you're singing? There's so many questions.
We're not going to reveal what the song is, but we can tell you that we really do think you're going to like it, that the audience are going to be moved. We just get a lot of connectivity out of it within our choir as well. So... looking forward to it. It's going to be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
The whole country's going to be rooting for you, aren't they?
It's something like, sorry to interrupt, like our children are with us as well. So that makes it more special for us. Like Mark's daughters with Vic's obviously representing her mom. Myself and my son's going to be with me, Tim, and obviously Will here. He just makes us laugh all the time. He makes us, he keeps the school going.
Director.
He's got a new title.
Well, listen, best of luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
So
You've obviously been through so much, but just as the Department of Business and Trade spokesman just said, we recognise the suffering victims of the Horizon scandal that Mark, Victoria, Jess and Tim have suffered. That's why this government has quadrupled the total amount paid to the affected postmasters to provide them with full and fair redress, with $964 million having now been paid out over 6,800 claimants. The BGT semi-final continues this Saturday, 7 p.m. on ITV1 and ITVX. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Good luck with it. Good luck.
Let's hear that big baritone in the back, baby. Take it home, Tim. Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
What were you expecting with your first baby to have to feel?
Well, I mean, you see, you read all the books and you go to all the classes and you do all the work, like the post-work up to it, and you think, right, well, when the baby comes, there'll be this instant kind of bond and you'll be like the kind of picture-perfect family.
You were excited? You wanted to be a dad?
Yeah, I mean, we meticulously planned the baby because my wife's a teacher, so we've gone for the school holidays to get everything.
Well done.
But then kind of, we'd done all that, like I said, been on to the classes and we'd painted the nursery and we got everything ready and we were really excited. And then the birth came and, I mean, it's...
You were there?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And it's... I'm not going to say anything like it's traumatic for me because, obviously, for the lady, for the wife, it's horrendous. It's...
But they're very different experiences, I think.
Completely.
You know. So what was the experience for you?
It was... I mean, I felt almost... what's the word? I felt it was my fault because, I mean, it takes two to tango, and then she was
and you're
there,
thinking,
and it was my fault.
I've
done this to my wife,
her,
and it was horrendous to watch, and more horrendous for her. And then afterwards, you're given this small pink person, and they hand you to it. And I've got hold of Monroe, and it's the first time I've met her. Now, Effie had already started to get a bond. As soon as you find out you're pregnant as a lady, you've got 9 months of kind of feeling all the
moving and
movements,
kicking,
and you kind of your bond's growing. Whereas when she was born, that was the first time I'd ever seen her. And had hold of her.
So what were you expecting? You know, I'm sure you'd imagine that moment. Someone's going to hand me my baby boy or girl, and I'm going to feel what?
A massive rush of emotion, a connection.
Yeah. And what did you feel?
It was just like meeting somebody new for the first time. I was like, hello. And I felt really disconnected, which kind of, I felt like there was something wrong straight away because
And Jonty, was there something wrong?
So there's definitely
I don't think at that point there's necessarily something wrong, but I think increasingly, as time goes on, if you're noticing that actually that connection isn't forming, and that's absolutely what happened to Mike, then yes, there is. And we know that 1 in 10 men suffer with depression following the birth of a child, so it's an incredibly important thing to recognise.
I can understand the bond thing not happening. I'm sure we could all look at people in life and think they're not very close to their children, and maybe you sort of understand that. But the depression thing I find harder to understand, that why it was so much your fault. Was it because you loved Effie so much? Do you think that you wanted... Was it more in love with your wife than you were with your child?
Well, for me, the way... what happened was... I wasn't jealous of like the baby taking Effie's attention away from me.
Yes.
What I was kind of jealous of was the bond they had. Because what would happen if the baby would cry and I'd have hold of her, and I felt at the time like that she hated me. As soon as I went near her, she started crying. She didn't want anything to do with me. I couldn't do anything to soothe her, to look after her.
Yes.
So as soon as she went to Effie, she'd just go quiet.
So all these things they're small things if you take them all individually, but they were just building and building.
Yeah.
You also had to rehome your wonderful dog that you'd had for many years because you were saying he was getting a bit anxious about the baby and attention.
He became quite possessive of the baby, and he was a bigger Alaskan Malamute dog. We'd had him for 7 years, and he was Mike's first baby, first responsibility, and we tried to do all the bonding, the classes, the training, but they weren't connecting.
But we're here to talk about Mike, I suppose, and Doctor. What should he have done, or anybody finding themselves in this position? Because, you know, the fact that we're seeing this is so unusual, the fact that we're talking about it here today either means that he's a one-off or men don't like talking about this.
Yeah, so we know that men don't like talking about their feelings, do they? So, I mean, I think whether it's following the birth of a child or at any other time, men don't seek help when they're feeling depressed or when they're feeling low. And it's really, really important to talk about it, and I think Mike, you'd agree that simply the act, and certainly men I speak to, the act of sharing how they're feeling is a huge relief, and so often that's the most important thing you can do.
Effie, was it you that pushed Mike to get help? When did you start thinking, this is not my husband, he's not enjoying fatherhood and there's something wrong here?
Well, we grew up as childhood sweethearts, and we'd been together years beforehand, so I knew he was not himself. And I knew the father he could be, and he just didn't seem to be enjoying it, and we began bickering and arguing, and we never really used to do things like that before. And I could just see it and we could feel it, and I said, look, you need to go and speak to someone. We're not working as a family unit. I felt like I was on eggshells.
And are there people to speak to? I mean...
There is and there isn't. I mean, we didn't know. There's quite a lot of people now that actually said, I actually felt like that at the time. I can't believe it's a real thing. But you went to the doctors, didn't you, and spoke to a counsellor.
So you went to the GP first, who referred you to counselling?
Yeah, so I went to the GP, and he said at first, if you go NHS, it'll take 8 to 12 weeks, but you can go private. And because of kind of the way I was feeling and wanting to fix the situation, I said, right, well, I'll go private.
And was the situation fixed?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, now we've got our second child, Leo, and it's everything that I wanted to have at first with Monroe. I've got with him.
Yeah.
Because I recognise the signs. I know that it's not...
But do you and Monroe have a bond?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
In fact, talking of which, hello. Who's
Daddy's
this
girl?
beautiful girl? Where's Daddy?
Beautiful dress.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hey, Monroe.
Oh, everybody wants Daddy.
Everybody wants Daddy.
Everybody wants Daddy. Oh, hello.
But, Jonty, again, it's lovely to see how this ends up, and it shows that help is out there, and if you seek that help, it may not seem that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but there is.
There is, absolutely, and I think actually from my point of view it was really interesting when I knew we were going to be talking about this. Yeah. I was thinking about whether I'd ever seen a man with postnatal depression, and I've asked some colleagues, and I think we have probably seen depression, but we don't, as GPs, make the association between that and the birth of a child, because we tend to associate that with women.
And is it recognised now, do you think?
I don't think it is,
right.
And I think it's so important that actually that we absolutely acknowledge that this is a real issue.
It was slow to start, but then manifested quickly. I was manic, I wasn't sleeping. I had an hour and a half on average a night, and I went through a 19-hour labour, and obviously I'm a new mum, I should have been exhausted and I wasn't. I had racing thoughts, I was talking 100 miles an hour.
You said you got the feeling that you had an IQ of 1,000. You could have, if someone had said learn a language overnight, you could have done.
Yeah, I felt like that.
So, and that's when, with this sort of lack of sleep, the hallucinations started. So what sort of hallucinations were you having?
By day 7, day 8, I started to see my mum, who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago.
Right.
I didn't talk to her necessarily, but she was there, and also a man was in the house who I thought was going to kill me. He kept coming and going when I was upstairs.
There were, at no point did you, were you or your husband, Adam, were you concerned about Leo? You were never going to hurt Leo, but there was a serious danger you felt that you might hurt yourself. And so you said to Adam, will you make sure that you take all the knives away?
I did, yeah. I mean, I was very aware of what was going on. I had a lot of insight into what was happening to me, whereas a lot of women don't. But I reached breaking point because no one was willing to help us or diagnose me, and I just didn't know what to do with these. I had 1,000 thoughts in my head. I was trying to get them out. I was hallucinating, delusional.
Why? Because it seems extraordinary, because I remember when I did NCT when I was pregnant with Harry, and I know that it was one of the sort of things that they spoke about there, you know, and the midwife that came round would always say, sort of go, and how are you feeling? Are you okay? And was quite good on that sort of thing, and you appear not to have had any of that support at all.
My husband and I also did NCT locally, and postnatal depression was touched on, but I'd read baby books. I'd never once heard of postpartum psychosis.
The problem is that also, I mean, you then started to seek help, and you went to various midwives, you went to medics.
From day 5.
Yeah, back to where you'd had the baby in the first place, and they said, oh, well, it's out of hours, nothing we can do, and you had, also you're working very closely with them now to make sure that
but
never
unfortunately
happens again.
my manic episodes happened overnight, and out of hours help is actually quite difficult to get with
So it was a midwife who said, right, OK, I do spot a problem here, and she got a psychiatrist involved.
We called the midwives on the night of day 8, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm manic, I'm crazy, I need your help. And they sent 2 midwives to the house, and the following morning they did organise for a GP to come and see me, who didn't diagnose me. She said I didn't need medical intervention. A psychiatric nurse came, she told me I did. I didn't trust her, because you do have trust issues when you're suffering psychosis. And because I trusted my doctor, she said I didn't need medical intervention. Obviously I didn't then believe the psychiatrist. And it took that night, we called the midwives again, we called an ambulance, we called the police. Nobody would take responsibility for me, and no one would diagnose me, but my husband and I would just, we cried for help. We spoke to 15 medical professionals.
Well, thankfully, so confusing, isn't it? I mean, and obviously there are 1 in 1,000 women will go through this. What is potentially extremely dangerous?
Yeah. So I mean, this condition is a complete psychiatric emergency, and what's really key is making the diagnosis, because actually, once a woman's diagnosed and treated, like you were, they can get better very quickly.
Well, clearly, I mean, this is not that long ago. I mean, you were sections for 13 days, just 13 days, got the correct treatment you wanted, and now you're back on track.
Yeah, it's about 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It's the awareness, lack of awareness, really, in picking this up. And I think, you know, unfortunately, in your case, it was really things weren't very good. But I think people know about baby blues. Most women will have some baby blues in the first couple of weeks, and even postnatal depression, which affects 1 in 10. Now, this condition affects 1 in 1,000, so it's actually rare. But you know, the consequences of it being undiagnosed can be really terrible.
What do you spot? What are those initial symptoms?
So the early signs can be low mood or high mood, like you had. So particularly, the things to look out for: lack of sleep. After a baby, women want to sleep. If a woman doesn't want to sleep or is unable to sleep at all, or just unable to do normal daily tasks, or, you know, running around talking a lot, feeling that they're Superwoman, that's abnormal. And certainly any hallucinations or unusual thoughts, unusual ideas would you know, be alarmed.
Well, I hesitate to say, where'd you go? Because you went everywhere.
It shouldn't be like that.
You should go straight to your GP. There always is an out-of-hours service, and they vary. And if you're not getting help there, you go to A&E or dial 999. Particularly if a woman is in crisis, where she feels that she's afraid she's going to take her own life or harm somebody else. 999.
And don't be afraid to get help, because they're not going to take your baby away from you. You'll get the help, and then before you know it, you'll be back at home and things will be back.
The aim is always to keep the woman and the baby together.
Yeah.
And they're not going to stop you from, you know, unless it's a natural requirement. They won't stop you from breastfeeding. So you know, it's just important.
Thank you for highlighting this.
Yes, thank you.
I just wanted to raise awareness.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
Guest is a world record holder who achieved the seemingly impossible.
Harry Magar lost both his legs in an explosion while serving as a Gurkha in the British Army in Afghanistan in 2010.
And yet, last year, Harry became the first double above-knee amputee to climb Mount Everest.
Earlier this year, Harry was awarded an MBE for his services to disability awareness. And tonight, you can see the emotional moment he accepted the Special Recognition Award at this year's Pride of Britain. Let's take a look.
I grew up in Nepal and always dreamed of climbing Everest. And I really struggled. And I was feeling so bad one day that if I'm gonna drinking this way, I'm gonna die soon. As I said earlier, you know, my life, you know, it's in my story, but my family will suffer from my legacy. So, okay, I'm gonna live my life for my family. I'm very grateful. Without you, I think I wouldn't be here. Thank you for giving me a second chance to relive my life again.
And Harry joins us. What a wonderful moment that was when they came out on stage and joined you.
It was amazing, and it was a bit overwhelming as well.
And a complete surprise. None of them had let you know that they were going to see you on Monday night. Had any of them sort of let it slip?
No, not at all. I wasn't expecting.
Gosh, the amount of deceit involved in them coming without you knowing is what you need to remember. It was so magical, Harry, on Monday night, being there for us, being surrounded by all of the winners. What was it like for you?
It was a bit overwhelming. I never went to climb Everest for, you know, getting awards.
Sure.
Some of the awards I even didn't know. But I think it shows that anything is possible, even if we are disabled. But also, I think it shows that people with disability also can be proud of family, community, and country.
Can you tell us a little bit about your story and serving in Afghanistan?
We just were sent to Afghanistan. We were supposed to be there for 6 months, but very early in our tour, we were on foot patrol, and I was blown up, and I lost both of my legs. And one of my colleague was just behind me, and him like other people who you know did amazing job, you know, patched me up and rescued me on time. So I'm here today talking to you
of them,
because of them.
And their quick thinking and the love that they showed towards you.
But it's more complicated than that. I mean, clearly the explosion meant that you had to have double leg amputation above the knee. And then from somebody who had been very fit and very healthy and taken great pride in your role in the Gurkhas, to have to deal with the fact you've had that amputation, that was a very dark time for you, wasn't it, Harry? Can you explain a little bit about what you went through learning to live with what had happened to you?
Yeah, it was very difficult. The first thing was I didn't know how powerful is the mind. Another thing I didn't know about disability. And I knew that some of the disabled people were nicknamed from their disability when I was growing up and how they were treated. So I thought that my life is completely finished and I'm going to live my life as like them. And
so growing up in Nepal, I think you were saying that there was a lot of prejudice towards disabled people, and that was your experience. So you were worried you were going to be a burden to your family.
Yes, so I would be a burden to my family, which is a burden of the earth. You know? So you are pretty much you are useless pretty much, and also many people in Nepal, but not just Nepal. Later, I found out that around the world, disability is perceived as a sin of previous life, and I really suffered. I really struggled because of that, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what can I able to do. So that took me to quite a difficult time, and I was trying to. I was drinking so much to just control my pain and emotion. I was trying to take my life, and some of my friends, at one point, they actually rescued me. But some ways later, I went to do sports, and yeah, I'm here.
Well, I was going to say, what was it that changed your mindset? What was it that made you see the light? You know, what was it?
One day, I felt absolutely terrible. I felt really bad. And just looking at my son, he was 2.5 years old, simply, if I die, it's the end of my story. But my family will suffer because of me, and my young boy, he will suffer because of my, me, and they have to leave my negative legacy. So even sitting on a wheelchair somewhere, I think if I'm alive, I could able to still advise something to do and say, okay, I don't want to die anymore. No. Then after that, it was completely magical things. And I think life, it changes from very little moment, sometimes even by a word, by a phrase. So, yeah, one moment you want to do something, then you want to do everything.
I mean, and when you say magical, he's magical.
And you want to do everything, but what you did was extraordinary. Climbing Mount Everest, the first person to do it, changing the law to make it even possible. When you look at these pictures, does that feel a little surreal, Harry, just thinking back? Or can you still remember every agonising step?
For me, every step is a struggle. And sometimes I think that, what am I doing? And also, is it worth of doing it? And the answer always comes yes, because I really struggle nearly 2 years just not knowing about disability. So I want to make awareness of disability, that people with disability needs to know that we can do something. But also it's not just us, but we need to make aware to our family, friends, community and authorities, so that they don't discriminate and ban us, but support us the right way. So we also can live happy, successful and meaningful life like others.
Flourish.
Yeah, there's no stopping it.
There is none. Harry, thank you so much for coming in and singing us. It's an amazing thing to see you tonight as well on Pride of Britain. Everyone's going to absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what happens next as well. The next adventure is just around the corner, I know.
Thanks,
Absolute
Harry.
star.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Now, we are very excited about this next guest.
Yes, in her first ever live television interview. It's always a little bit scary. Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice joins us now. Trust us here in This Morning. We are live from the Empire State Building, but we're unlucky with the weather, aren't we?
Good morning, Your Royal Highness. Thank you so much for joining us. You are on top of the Empire State Building. The weather doesn't look too great there, and you're there supporting your charity, Outward Bound. Can you tell us what's going on, Beatrice?
Good morning. It's so wonderful to be with you, and I absolutely promise I really am standing on the top of the Empire State Building in New York, even though the weather looks a little bit grey. I am here to kick off an amazing challenge, which is called the Big Rappel. So I work very closely with an amazing organisation in the UK called the Outward Bound Trust. I've been involved with the organisation for a few years now, and this amazing challenge is a phenomenal collaboration between Outward Bound Trust, Outward Bound International and Outward Bound New York and all of our project partners to raise a little bit of awareness about what Outward Bound really stands for. And really the charity is here to think about what young people really need to thrive in life. And we've been working since the 1950s to think about collaboration, resilience, finding your true self, and we do this in various ways. But nothing better than really sort of taking that example of what the charity stands for and making some fantastic individuals, 25 to be exact, abseil from the top of the Empire State Building. This is the first time this challenge has happened, and it's phenomenal to be a partner of this.
Beatrice, I'm trying to figure out what's more terrifying, abseiling down with a view or into the abyss of fog. How are they all feeling this morning?
I've had a chance to catch up with some of the participants, and I think they're feeling really confident. They have a very rigorous safety team who have taken them through a couple of days of fantastic training, and I think for them, you know, they're really taking this into, you know, taking it in their stride. I think they would have loved for a bit more of a view. I think it's such a momentous day to kind of stand at the top, but, you know, it's still spectacular to do the project.
And it's a charity that means an awful lot to you and your family, of course, because your grandfather was involved in it way back in the 50s, wasn't he, Prince Philip?
Exactly. So it's one of the reasons why I'm so thrilled to be a part of the Outward Bound. You know, he studied under Kurt Hahn, who was the founder of the charity when he was at school at Gordonston, and really summing up what sort of he's really strived for throughout his legacy, founding, you know, not only the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, but also Outward Bound, really thinking about what young people need. And fascinatingly, even though this charity's been around for such a long time, that legacy for young people is still the most important thing and at the very core of what Outward Bound really stands for. What do young people really need to thrive? And actually, you know, I've had a chance to meet some of the young people over the years of my work with the charity. And sometimes it's a case of, you know, they can come out of their comfort zones, they're taken on these amazing adventures, and in some stories, they're seeing stars for the very first time. Oh. And that really is what the charity is all about. It's taking those opportunities and giving them to young people.
And how high up are you at the moment, Beatrice? And would you fancy an abseil yourself?
Oh, goodness. So the wonderful thing about being involved with the charity is I've taken a whole charity approach to this one, and I'm really thrilled to support the participants. But no, I'm gonna let them do it today and cheer them on from the very top.
But today's the perfect day because you don't know how far up you are. It's one step.
I have no idea. No idea. But, you know, the Empire State Building is such an iconic building as well, so it's pretty wonderful to kind of feel the history. You know, it's been around since the 1930s, and, you know, so no better place to collaborate than on the top of a beautiful building like this.
Your mum took a big step into the unknown this year when she joined us on the sofa and presented part of the show. Did she enjoy herself?
She absolutely loves working with this morning team. I think it's one of her favorite things to do. You know, she's such a phenomenal icon, and as a mum, she's been amazing, and she's been through so much, and her sense of sort of purpose and resilience really keeps me going. And she absolutely, I thought it was one of the most hilarious segments I've seen for a while. I watched it sort of half under the sofa and half sort of like, come on, Mum, you can do it. So it was a great day.
Beatrice, how is your mum? Can you give us an update on her?
She's doing really well, thank you, Josie. Yeah, you know, she's had a bumpy health scare last year, but no, all clear now. And I think, you know, at 64, she's thriving. She's been through so much, but I think really now she's sort of coming into her own. I think we're just reminded when any parent or individual has a sort of a health scenario, just really get the checks that you need to get, and as early as you possibly can. And I think, you know, both my sister and I are so proud of her for taking those steps to get those checks, and it really modelled our health sort of considerations on that. But, you know, we're really lucky in the UK to make sure that you can get those checks as best you can, and hopefully we can, you know, do as much as, you know,
Beatrice,
be there to support each other when anyone goes through a healthcare scare.
That's been the message from all your family, because it's been a tough year for all of you, hasn't it, across the board? And it's interesting watching you all come together and supporting each other. It's been heavy going, I know.
And will you send your...
There's nothing more important than family.
Yeah, we're all big fans of your mum here this morning, so will you send your mum our love?
It's beginning to look like a Spandau ballet
course
video
I
at the
will.
moment
I
with that
wish-
fog coming in, Beatrice. We can barely see you. I mean, you're disappearing into it.
I know. I'm still here. Of course, I will send your mum, my mum, your best at your best, and you know, when I'm back in the UK, maybe we could do something together.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
we'd love that. We'd absolutely love that.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of New York. Is it your second favourite city to London?
Well, I had the opportunity to live here for a couple of years, so I've got some wonderful best friends, some fantastic kind of local haunts that I really enjoy. But you know, New York for me, when I was figuring out my life and what I wanted to do, New York gave me a place to kind of have a job and just get on with it. So New York has always had such a special place for me, and you know, and also for Mum as well. I mean, you know, she came out here, you know, started her charity, Chances for Children, back in the day. And so New York for us has always been a great city to spend some time in.
It's also, I mean, look, when you're a member of a high-profile family as you are, going to somewhere like New York, particularly on a day like today where no one can see anyone, it must be lovely to live in relative anonymity over there when you're there for a while, right?
Yeah, and you know, I came to New York for my job, to go and sit in an office and do the things that I've been really passionate about in technology and digital inclusion. And so these are, you know, one of the reasons why New York really kind of created that environment. And I learned a lot. I was quite young when I was here, so I was really excited to have that opportunity. But now very happy to be back in the UK with my family as well.
And do your children spend a little time there, Beatrice, as well with you?
My little ones are phenomenally excited about coming to travel, but my daughter is 2.5 and I haven't yet braved the international flight.
and how are they? And I suppose as a parent, you realise the importance of doing activities like this.
Yes, I'm as a parent, when I think about some of the opportunities that Outward Bound gives to young people, it even more just sort of gives them that sense of determination. You know, young people these days are having to go through so much with social media and with the debates around screen time, and actually we just need to make sure that there are places like Outward Bound, which are, you know, phenomenal, offer phenomenal programs to make sure that every child gets the best opportunities to think about confidence, resilience, and these sort of essential life skills that mean that any challenge that they can look at, we can give them and sort of a bit more support. And you know, as I said, I've had a chance to meet some of the students that have been supported by Outward Bound, and even in New York, listening to the stories with Outward Bound schools, I'm just so inspired that, you know, something that has got such a phenomenal legacy is still relevant today to make sure that young people have what they need to thrive.
Beatrice, I know you're not doing your first abseil today, but you have done your first live television interview.
I cannot believe
it was
it's
okay,
your first
wasn't it?
live. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Princess Beatrice.
You're very kind.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I still cannot believe this is your first live broadcast.
And
You've
look,
been incredible.
Lots of love to all the family and everything they're going through at the moment. Okay, take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. You're very kind.
Cheerio.
Take care. Bye, Beatrice. Bye-bye.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
They're the 10 and 11-year-olds who've taken matters into their own hands to improve what's on their school lunch menu.
Yeah, after researching why school dinner uptake was low, organising taste testings to encourage others to try new foods and growing their own veg, they've been nominated for a Jamie Oliver Good School Food Award in recognition of their impressive commitment.
The Asset Arrows, that is a good name, and I need to find out exactly who came up with it. Join us now, alongside Deputy CEO of the Asset Trust, Jackie Bircham. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. Jackie, let's start with you. How did this come about?
So, Asset is 15 schools.
Yes.
every school elected 2 children who would represent all children, pupil voice, and we bring them all together half-termly, and we ask them to really think about what they want to change, what's important in the world, and what they want to lead. So there's 30 of them all together, and they call themselves the Asset Arrows.
It's a brilliant name. Where did you came up with the name, didn't you? Did it take you very long? Did you have all different names before that?
Yeah, we had a few, but I thought Asset Arrow was really good because it incorporated our logo.
It's a brilliant idea.
And you're moving forward, surging forward, making a difference.
Yes.
Jackie, what didn't always start with food, though? It wasn't initially just food that you were charging the kids with thinking about and talking about, was it?
No, we spent some time thinking about how they feel about the world, what's fair, what's not fair. So we played a game where you go over this side of the room if you think something's fair, you go over that side of the room if it's unfair. So we said, footballers get paid more than firefighters, and they were like, definitely unfair. Children
Depends if you're a footballer, though.
Well, yes, there was a little bit of debate. Not everybody went all on one side, some potential footballers. And things like, you know, there are children who have to pay for education in other countries, definitely unfair. And then we asked the question, adults get to pick what children eat. And they went one way, then they went the other way, and then this wonderful debate started. And really what came out of it was they said, well, you know, we might eat chocolate all the time, we might eat sweets all the time, but it's important that adults make sure that we know what's good for us, that we get a good education around food, that we choose foods that are right for the planet, and adults need to kind of step up and make sure the choices are there and that we know what we're choosing.
Brilliant.
So that was why we did it.
So, Logan, Emma, why did you want to change your school lunches?
I wanted to change my school lunches personally because I thought there wasn't enough variety as such, and I felt that other people were the same, so I thought I'd try and opt in and help them.
That's a great idea. And Emma, were they healthy enough for you, your school lunches?
Yes, they were healthy enough, but sometimes they were a little bit unhealthy, so I thought maybe we can make them a lot more healthy.
Nice. So, Guitars, you guys set about trying to change the menu and come up with new things. What sort of things have you started putting on it?
Well, there's these Nigerian balls, and they Jack said they look like chicken.
Right, OK.
Yeah.
Nigerian balls that look like chicken?
But what are they made of?
It's like bread or something. I don't know. They're very sweet and it's like the perfect amount. It's very nice. So yeah, it's like Nigerian puffs or whatever.
Brilliant. So you started trying to find different foods from the different cultures of all the kids that were in the schools and their families and stuff. So what have you enjoyed about that then, Jack? So other than the Nigerian puffs, anything else?
I've enjoyed. What have I enjoyed? That's a lot. I've enjoyed making the foods with people from different cultures because, like, in this country, it's like mainly English people around, and like I just feel like having other people from other countries and like cultures and stuff coming here and cooking with us is just very nice.
Yeah.
Makes you understand everybody better,
sure.
doesn't it? Faith and Elsie, how did you choose what recipes went into the book? Because I'm guessing you've got loads. Did you taste test them all? What did you do? How did you choose it?
So we let our school decide because this is what they want. So we done like a survey sort of thing to see what people like. Yes. And then we asked people to make their own recipes that is personal to them and their families, and they think it's healthy and enjoyable to everybody else. Yes. So we decided that, and then people just gave us their ideas and recipes and we put them in a cookbook.
Lovely. Elsie, what recipe did you come up with, or can you remember?
I came up with some cheese scones.
Nice. Who likes the cheese scones? Yeah.
Yes, favourite.
What is a cheese scone?
It's a cheesy scone, Jack. It's not compared to a Nigerian puff, but trust me, cheese scone, you've got to try some of Elsie's cheese scones. They're sensational.
Jack, have you been growing vegetables as well at your school?
I mean, I can't really remember vegetables, but I remember...
When you say you can't remember vegetables?
I can't... We have been, like, growing stuff.
Oh, nice, OK.
What have you been growing?
I kind of forgot, but I think we've grown a few potatoes and stuff like that.
That's good.
Just basic stuff and like weeding and stuff.
Do you enjoy that part of it?
Love it.
Getting stuck in, getting
Yeah.
your hands dirty.
It's so fun.
Yeah, for sure. And Lila and Jada, I know that you guys chose the name, or Lila, you chose the name, but you've been doing some blind tasting as well, as we were talking about. What sort of things have you been blind tasting, and what sort of difference does that make to some of the other kids, just in terms of whether they want to try stuff or not?
So we're gonna add like some new food things on our school menu. But before we do that, we're going to do the blindfold tasting. So we're going to have all the year groups from our school, except for year 6. So we're going to give them 3 different types of foods, so they can try it before they can have what's on the menu.
Right, it's not like a bush tucker drill that Ant and Dec would make you eat, though, is it? This is nice tasting stuff.
It's a bit like that. Oh,
Is it?
No grubs.
And Olivia and Esther, you've cooked community meals as well. Do parents get to try the food too?
They don't actually, but we do. We make it at schools,
right?
So that the children can try too.
Oh, excellent! And what's been the favourite at your school?
Lasagna.
Lasagna. What about you, Olivia? Have you got a favourite that you've discovered?
Probably the like the cheesy bean wrap.
Cheesy bean wrap. There's some amazing things. So obviously, you guys know you got nominated, Jack. What did it feel like when you found out that Jamie Oliver had nominated you for this award?
Felt all right, I guess.
Yeah.
It felt good.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Well, you guys have been working really, really hard.
You have. And actually, the exciting news doesn't stop there. We've got some more exciting news to share with you.
So obviously you got nominated for this year's Good School Food Leader category for Jamie Oliver's Good School Food Awards. Well, we can announce that you haven't just been nominated, you've won. Congratulations.
You guys, well done.
Here we go. There's Good School Food Leader Award.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes,
There you
here you go.
go.
This is your award.
That's for you.
Would you like to hold it, Jack?
And that's not all. Our friends at Merlin have kindly provided you all of you, including all the members of the Asset Arrows who
I think
can't be
there's
with
30
us
of you,
today.
isn't there, in total?
Entry to a Merlin attraction of your choice. So you get to go to a theme park and have a super-duper fun day out.
How does that sound?
Good?
So good.
Yeah.
So good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, my God. Do you like roller coasters?
Yeah.
OK, well, buckle up.
Do you
because we're gonna
like
be doing
roller coasters more than Nigerian puff puffs? No, it's a hard choice.
Hard choice. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. Congratulations, you guys.
Yes.
You're winners.
You're doing an amazing job,
You
Jackie.
are.
Thank you for
Thank
bringing
you.
them all in
Thank
as
you
well,
so
and the
much.
parents and all the assistants as well. There you go. You're going to all fight over who's going to take the trophy home.
Take the spoon home.
But it's been lovely to see you all. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Almost 9 million Brits are currently taking antidepressants, but it seems not just humans who need help.
Well, vets have reported a huge surge in prescriptions of puppy Prozac as owners use medication to help treat their dog's behavioural issues.
And that includes our next guest, Emma Reid, who says they've currently cured the cockapoo Chester of his anxiety.
But are they really safe to give to your pooch? Well, Emma is joining us now with vet Dr. Sean McCormack. Welcome to both of you. And welcome to little Chester, who's got his back to us at the moment. He's just chilling out.
He looks
like he's really having a lovely time. So, Emma, we're going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about Chester. When you got him, what was his behaviour like?
Yeah, we got him as a puppy in 2018, so before lockdown. He was definitely Captain Cautious, on the cautious side of life. He wasn't a really, aggressive sort of out there puppy. Yeah. And we did loads of training with him, socialised him, stood on the street with fire engines, ambulances, so he was used to everything.
So you went for it?
Went for it. I had my list, I popped balloons, everything. And then we went through adolescence, which is when dogs can sometimes regress a bit in their behaviour.
Yeah.
And then we were towards the end of that, and I noticed that he suddenly was really anxious on walks. He started randomly barking, sometimes lunging at people. I couldn't pinpoint it to a particular type. So it became really stressful for him and for me. And in the family home, having visitors was difficult. They'd come in and he'd bark a lot, he'd run away. He was obviously a bit scared. Yeah. It was very difficult to manage for everybody. So at that point, I tried the training and then I sought the help of a behaviourist who went out on walks with us, saw that...
so they actually come out and they monitor the situation?
Yeah, to see what he was like in certain situations and also try other forms of training with him. Right. But it was evident that he was so stressed that he couldn't listen. So that's when she suggested fluoxetine, Prozac, as an option to take the edge off so that he could train and learn. So that's...
You must have, like, because when you hear that word Prozac, it's like, what?
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I was exactly the same. I was, really? And, you know, when I mentioned it later to friends, their initial reaction was, well, firstly to laugh and then go, really? And then we talked about it. So, yeah, I never knew about it before.
So what did you notice with Chester and his behaviour, and how long did it take before you noticed a difference?
It was more quickly, it wasn't instant, but it was more quickly than I thought it would be. We just noticed that we were able to start to do more stuff. So you were able to intervene before he maybe barked at people. He was just slightly calmer, and then that got better and better. I mean, for example, this would have been a complete...
Could we not have done this?
No, I would never have come out here. I wouldn't even go into cafes and things with him a few years ago because he was just too stressed and that wasn't fair on him. So, you know, it's a balance of putting them in the situation but also getting them used to the situations. You can't hide away.
OK.
Yeah, I think most pet owners as well, kind of, like, when it comes to medication and stuff like that, it's... You hear people around about bonfire night when there's a lot of loud explosions, and I think a lot of people have done that. But this is... Today, when I read about this, I was like, wow, this is totally new.
I mean, what are the people's reactions when you tell them that they're on puppy Prozac?
They think it's hilarious. I mean, he's not... Well, he's not a puppy, so I've got to make that clear. So he's now 7, but he started taking it when he was just beyond 2, basically. They do think it's hilarious. I'm able to laugh at myself because it sounds like, oh, ridiculous dog owners who can't train their dogs and they go for this option. But no, I think done responsibly, it's helped him enormously.
Well, let's talk to Dr. Sean, because there's a massive surge in this drug being used at the moment. Firstly, is it safe for the dog for you to be doing this?
It is safe for the dog, so people are surprised to hear that, you know, human Prozac. It's the same drug, fluoxetine. It's a serotonin reuptake inhibitor is how it works. So it increases the level of feel-good hormone, serotonin, in the brain. It helps with anxiety, it helps with mood, it helps with energy levels. And for certain dogs, in certain circumstances, it can really improve their quality of life. Because it's important to say that if a dog is in a really anxious state all of the time, that's a welfare issue. That dog is not enjoying itself in normal life. So for some dogs, you know, they do end up on this drug long term. But normally how we prescribe it is as an aid, you know, a short-term aid to get them out of what Emma says, that heightened state of anxiety, so that you can focus on behavioural modification and getting them used to the things that they're afraid of. So normally it's kind of prescribed as a short-term kind of adjunct to behavioural therapy.
So you're not using it forever?
No.
In most
do you know what's amazing? As you were talking, everything about that, then I was like, wow, we have come a long way since Barbara Woodhouse. Do you remember? It was just like, shit! And now we're sort of, like, looking at medication, anxiety in pets and all that. It's crazy, like, you know, what goes on now.
Yeah, our approach to dog behaviour has changed, you know, and most of the time now, qualified animal behaviourists are looking at what's motivating a behaviour. Why does the dog do that? Is that a natural and normal and advantageous behaviour for a dog? Or is that really a behavioural issue? And for Chester, you know, he was fearful. One of the symptoms was he would bark. And to a dog, actually, that's quite a clever thing to do, because if he barks at a stranger coming towards him in the park, either mum will take him away from that scary thing, or the stranger will give him a wide berth. And for him, that barking worked. that is an advantageous behaviour, so he'll learn it. And for these little breeds, these are complex little characters, you know, cockapoo, a mixture between a Cocker Spaniel and a poodle. You've got bags of energy, you've got super intelligence, and they figure things out very well and learn how to cope, but sometimes it can be antisocial, it can cause stress for the owner. It's not nice to have a stressed-out dog, is it?
Even though it's called puppy Prozac, you wouldn't give this to puppies, would you?
We don't give it to puppies. Emma did the right thing. You know, she got Chester before the pandemic. That's caused a whole rake of other problems, which we'll get to. She socialised him, you know, she did everything right.
Yeah.
But we can't medicate puppies when they're in that early development phase. And one of the most crucial development phases for puppies especially is called the socialisation window. And that's not, you know, going out for brunch with their mates or going to a puppy class once a week. That's getting them used to everything in the world that they're going to have to get used to and realise it's no problem. A fire engine goes past, or a person in a wheelchair is a common one. People say, my dog's afraid of people in wheelchairs. Probably because they just never experienced it before they were about 18 weeks of age. So really important to socialise them well.
Dr. Sean, just while I've got you, can you prescribe anything for my cat? Because he's got a really bad attitude.
Does he?
Doesn't even look at me.
OK, well, that's just a cat's prerogative, I'm afraid. Yeah,
there's nothing we can do about cats, is there? That's just how they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on a serious note, if someone is watching at home and they're worried about their dog, would you suggest this, or would you say just go and get a full checkup, maybe at the vet?
Yeah, I would never suggest Prozac as a quick fix solution, first solution. It needs to be in concert with a physical exam by your vet, because sometimes some of the symptoms of anxiety, trembling, strange behaviour, aggression, they can be signs of pain, for example, can be signs of neurological issues. So you need a checkup by a vet first, make sure there's no medical cause. Then you need to go, as Emma did, to a qualified animal behaviourist who will come and watch you with your dog and see what's going on. And then, only then, maybe prescribing something to help kind of with the behavioural modification.
Well, he's definitely chilled out, isn't
That's
he?
nice and
Look how chilled out he is.
And he doesn't like fireworks at all.
Does
Out
he
of
not?
everything else, fireworks not a problem
my goodness.
at all.
We've had a
A
message here from
yeah.
British Small Animal Veterinary Association. Dr. Julian Horde said, fluoxetine could be usually beneficial, helping more than half of dogs with separation anxiety or dominance aggression, but he also warned against drawing parallels between depressed humans and dogs, saying we don't know whether dogs have the same sort of mental health issues as people.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. I think as society changes and as the role of dogs in society changes, one of the mistakes we're making, I think, is that we're humanising dogs a little too much and we're forgetting that they're dogs.
Yeah.
We're not learning their language. We have expectations of them. You know, we're expecting dogs not to behave like dogs. So there's been a wave of pandemic puppies, and there's been a great study by Dr. Rowena Packer at the Royal Veterinary College looking at the pandemic puppy boom. We saw the population of dogs go from 9.5 million to nearly 14 million in just a couple of years. And by and large, I'm making sweeping statements, but by and large, a lot of them were first-time dog owners, inexperienced dog owners, maybe who hadn't had a dog since their childhood. A lot of the puppies were bred to meet the surge in demand, so not necessarily bred very well or with regard to their temperament.
Yeah.
So there was problems there. And then it was a perfect storm. We were all locked down, so you couldn't socialise your dog. You didn't have access to help, to a behaviourist. You know, so it's not people's fault, but we were all in a situation where some people said, this is the time I can get a dog. And I really want to get a dog. But for me, in my lifestyle and my work life, I can't get a dog. So I've gone head over heart. But a lot of people went for that. And it has created this wave.
Yeah.
And I think, hopefully, we're riding the crest of that wave now. And the population of dogs that need Prozac, hopefully the next wave along will be better able to cope with life.
Yeah, Thank you so much for explaining so well. And Emma, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Chester, I mean, we can see it's working.
I'm taking him home, I think.
He's lovely. He's not having it, look.
Good boy.
Thank you so very much. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Imagine this. You wake up one morning to find that you've lost the ability to walk and talk, literally overnight. And that's exactly what happened to our guest today, former semi-professional rugby player James Sutcliffe.
Now, if you look at a photograph of James, you'd never know anything was wrong. But for the past 9 years, he has been battling a neurological disorder, a debilitating neurological disorder, which changed his life overnight. Now, he's here with his wife, Samantha, to discuss this. And the thing is, James can't really discuss it, Samantha. James can't really talk a lot about this. And can you tell us why?
Yeah, basically James has a rare neurological dysfunction disorder called dystonia, which basically affects his speech. So it makes him hard to kind of communicate via talking, and this pretty much happened overnight. Yeah.
Very, very frightening for you, James. You know, you're a fit guy, you know, having a normal life as a 23-year-old. What can you remember that morning when you woke up? What did you think had happened?
Woke up okay. I had a nap in the afternoon. And I woke up. My speech was slurred, disorientated. I found it hard to eat and to drink.
So literally your speech is slurred. I mean, that's very frightening. You can't eat or drink. What did you think?
Was it a bit like having a stroke or something?
Well, initially, that's what we thought it might have been. Obviously, for something to happen kind of almost instantly, I mean, he literally did go to bed and wake up, and he is as he is, if not worse. So, I mean, for James, it was absolutely frightening. And, I mean, we were all kind of taken aback when we first kind of heard James's speech, but it was kind of one of those things where we thought, you know what, this is going to sort itself out. And we didn't really know what to make of it.
But the man who you met and you fell in love with, not too long before, you hadn't been going out for a long time.
No.
But suddenly this guy had changed. He was a completely different person. But it didn't change you.
No.
You stayed in love with him. You stayed with him.
Definitely. Look at him. Yeah, I mean, James is James to me. You know, just because he's kind of has his disability, it makes no difference. He is.
And you can obviously understand James a lot more than other people because you're with him all the time.
99% of the time. Yeah. Occasionally I'll have selective hearing when I don't want to hear what he's saying.
How frustrating is it for you not being able to communicate as you could?
At the start, very hard. Now, I'm just used to it.
Just used to it, yeah.
It's me. I can't change. It is what it is.
How long before you got a diagnosis? Because there was quite a while when everyone was a bit baffled by this.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was actually 4 years.
4 years?
4 years since James's first symptoms that he got a diagnosis. And during that 4 years, James actually developed symptoms in his hands, and his hands curl inwards involuntary. And it makes it very hard for him to do kind of just general tasks like getting dressed or, you know, opening
But you just never give up. You never give up. And, you know, no matter what these doctors said, you just challenged it, challenged it, until you got that definition of dystonia.
That's right,
Right, so then you knew, right, this is what we're dealing with now. Right. Now, what you also had to deal with was you love the socks of this guy and he loved the socks of you. And a big thing for you was to be able to say what?
This is a lot clearer. Not very clear. It's clearer.
So he's saying how much he loves you, and it got clearer and clearer. Give him a hug for that.
Well done.
How much did that mean to you?
I mean, it was amazing, yeah. I mean, James is very good at telling me every day that I look nice and that he cares and loves for me. So he's really great. But for him to actually definitively say it, obviously it's an amazing feeling.
And when you got married, it was too much for you, James, you said, to do your speech and vows. And...
I'm too embarrassed. Not saying that I can't do it and just teach how to.
But if you've met a surgeon or a doctor from America who's treating James, what's his prognosis now? How would his speech improve?
We met with this guy in London earlier this year, and he's actually a dentist and a craniofacial specialist. So, I mean, the guys that James had been seeing were kind of looking in his head. Actually, what's going on is in this area. It's in his jaw.
I think his jaw's not aligned.
This is it. It's called your TMJ joint, and it's almost like a C-shaped disc here.
So what's he doing here?
So here, this was a test that Dr. Mayer did, and he basically popped some spatulas in James' mouth to elevate the jaw. And the idea of this is to put the jaw back into alignment, okay? And when he did that, when he removed the spatulas, James could speak a lot clearer, and he could use
straight away.
Pretty much,
Good luck, and
Thank you.
continue to improve, continue to stay in love. And it's just been an amazing story. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
Vicky
having
says
us.
he's an inspiration and role model to children like my son, who also has dystonia.
That's
so thank you very
amazing.
much for raising
That's
awareness
amazing.
as well.
Yes, definitely so.
Good
Thank
to meet
you.
you.
That is the film that brought us to horror, Hysteria. Incredible movie. Head-spinning moment none of us will forget. 50 years since The Exorcist hit the cinemas. We're joined by someone who knows a thing or two about hunting spirits.
Yeah, on the surface, Reverend Jason Bray is your ordinary Anglican vicar, leading christenings, weddings and funerals. But for the last 27 years, he's also been hired to hunt down demons as a real-life exorcist.
And he's joining us now on the spookiest day of the year. Morning, Reverend.
Morning, Reverend.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for asking me on. I'm thrilled to be here. Wow.
Thanks for being part of this.
So,
Are you quite
only
impressed?
person not in costume, but brought the hats.
There we go.
we like
You're
it.
in.
We
You should
like
wear that
it.
all the time, by the way. You look great.
I wear that quite a lot of the time.
So,
given half
talk
the
us
time.
through this. Your day job is working as a dean.
Yeah, so I'm the Dean of Llandaff Cathedral in Cardiff. So, sort of slightly weirdly, the cathedral in Cardiff is sort of at the edge of the city, and it's like sort of walking into a sort of medieval film set, really. You know, you sort of walk in, and it's just different, and the cathedral's at the bottom of the hill, and it's a stunning place to go.
Yeah.
And so that's my day job, and basically I run it, and lots of meetings, lots of lots of meeting people, lots of meeting tourists as well. So we get a few of those, do some more.
Yeah.
And sort of lots of services as well. It's a cathedral, so we have a fantastic choir. They sing pretty much every evening, and then sort of lots of other things going on as well.
It's a busy job, right?
It's a really busy job.
Busy job. It sounds incredible. So how did you fall into this? Did you have a moment with a particular spirit yourself?
Yeah, so when I was first ordained 27 years ago, we lived in a house that was, basically you get allocated a house.
Yeah.
So we saw the house first. It was in January, so it was cold and it was dark and it had been empty for a while. We thought it's just a cold, dark house. And it never got warm and it never really got light. So we moved in June, and it just stayed that way.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. In fact, it was really cold in some places. So a couple of months after we were there, our first son was born, Tom. And so, we got this sort of nursery for him, and his room seemed to be colder than any other.
Which is always more acute when it's a nursery, isn't it? You always notice it a bit more.
You sort of notice it, and you think, well, is it because it's got two external walls?
Yeah.
Is it bled the radiators, turned the thermostat up? Nothing seemed to work. And it just stayed that way. And, in fact, it seemed to sort of get worse. Okay, went into the winter and then came out of the winter, thought it'll just warm up in the summer, and it didn't. And then two things happened. So I went off on a course for a couple of days, and I came back, my wife, Laura, really not impressionable at all. And she said, there's something really odd about this house. She said, because, it's cold in Tom's room. She said, well, it was so cold when I went to, when I went into the room because he was crying, it was like walking into a freezer. She said it was that cold. Not making it up, she said I had to have him in bed with me, and I think there's something really odd about this house. And then I had a sort of weird experience myself.
Yeah.
So I was reading in bed, went to the toilet, and sort of came out the bathroom door, and I didn't see anything, to be honest, but there was like this sort of impression of somebody standing on the other side of the door, about my height, grey eyes, and with like a sort of mask on, a bit like most of the people around here today. But with this sort of big wooden mask. And was just sort of staring at me with unbridled hostility through the door.
Wow.
What on earth is going on? So, just sort of plucked up the courage and opened the bathroom door. Nothing there. Threw myself under the duvet, and Laura said, "Well, are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost." I said, "Well, I haven't seen anything, but..." So she said, "Well, get your boss in." So my boss, the vicar, came round and he splashed holy water around the place. He said a couple of prayers. We said the Lord's Prayer together. And the house sort of just returned to the way it should have been. It sort of lifted it, and it was sort of warm, and it was comfortable, and it was a nice place to be. A couple of things happened afterwards. I had a conversation with somebody who said when they were building the house, they disturbed a Roman graveyard.
Right, okay.
And so...
I bet that must have been a nice, relaxing chat for you.
Yeah, so, the house was all right by then. And that's how I got into it.
So when you... It's going to sound weird, because you're a man of the cloth, so therefore... there is a leap of faith involved in everything that you talk about and everything,
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, when you're telling your fellow kind of lay preachers and clergymen and so forth, is there scepticism from them?
Yeah, some of them... some of them don't really believe in it. Some of them think it's a whole load of rubbish. Some of them don't want to go anywhere near it at all for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So every time we get called out, we speak to the local vicar, and you just get this sort of, no, you deal with it. Don't want to, don't want to go anywhere near this.
So what happens? And so in terms of the training, what happens? We haven't got that long, but what happens and what the tools of the trade? Can you show us?
Right, tools of the trade.
Oh,
okay, so
it's like a little doctor, isn't it? Look at this.
Doctor, yeah. Hey, so I've got various bits and pieces. That's a stole that I wear around my neck.
Yes.
When I'm doing these things.
So you'll go into someone's house.
Go into somebody's house.
You'll put that on.
Yeah, we have a conversation. Try to work out what's going on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be, it can be them. Sometimes it can be because there's, for want of a better word, a sort of ghost or a presence or something like that. Sometimes it can be because, they've got some sort of condition or they're on medication that makes them see things or whatever. But we always have a conversation, and then I usually bless the house. So I've got this spectacular thing. It's a holy water sprinkler. Basically...
sprinkle that around?
Yeah, so...
you bless that yourself?
Bless that myself.
Yeah, bless the studio if you want.
Go on.
Go on. I don't... Oh, can you not just do
Too many spirits here to exercise.
Too many spirits here to exercise,
That.
So I've got a holy water bottle, so I sort of carry that with me and then bless it at the time. So there's that. That's really important. And then if there's... maybe on the second visit, if you have to go back and it hasn't settled, we celebrate the Eucharist, communion, Mass, whatever you want.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
So, the bells and smells?
So with the, not necessarily. But,
do you know what? I'd like to do this when I'm moving into any house. Do you know what I mean? I think it'd be a good thing to do,
we do
move
get
into the house.
We do that. Yeah, we do that sometimes. So sometimes people will say, actually, just moving into a new house.
Just want to make sure everything's all right.
Clean kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just, it's a nice thing to do, actually.
It really is.
So, and, from a Christian priest point of vieue, what we're doing is sort of bringing the love of God into that situation, wherever it is.
Right, and I guess even if, like you said, some people are ill and some people have, the medication, it just gives people a bit of calm and a bit of kind of serenity, I suppose.
Yeah, and, you could say that a lot of what we do is actually bringing reassurance.
Yeah.
So people are always frightened. When they get in touch with us, they're always frightened, and they're always say, we just sort of say, actually, we're here to help.
But Chase, before we let you go, you've never seen The Exorcist?
I've never seen... No, I've still never seen The Exorcist.
It's such a good film.
It's too frightening. I'm not into horror films at all.
No, I'm not into horror films at all. My son has watched them all, and he's the expert.
No, don't watch it.
No, still never seen The Exorcist.
Well, you wear the hat well anyway, so...
Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend.
Reverend, thank you so much for joining us today.
No.
Really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
And please do bless the studio later.
Yeah, feel free to bless. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now, we're remembering one of our beloved This Morning family members today, 19-year-old Matthew Locke. Matthew first appeared on the show back in 2020 and charmed the pants off us with his enthusiasm and love for gadgets. We often had him review everything from vacuum cleaners to phone cases.
Yeah, however, just over a year ago, Matthew tragically took his own life. And his parents, Richard and Christine, have since been campaigning to raise awareness about ADHD and the increased suicide risks that come with that. Welcome, Christine and Richard. Thank you so much for joining us. We absolutely adored your boy. We loved him, didn't we?
He just had this passion and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And he had funny bones, he was kind, he was caring.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't get to meet him an awful lot, like we only met him a few times, but he was a breath of fresh air when he came into the studio.
A real character.
Yeah.
And he loved coming in.
Did he?
This
Yeah.
was his passion.
And
Probably
he loved
his
his
dopamine hit
He loved
as well.
his vacuum cleaners, didn't he? He loved them vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
He was so passionate.
Oh, yeah.
Where did this all start? Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, it was sort of from an early age. He actually started to sort of pick up and just love the things. And then he actually started to repair them. And that sort of grew. And he had an incredible ability just to find what the problem was and fix it. A young engineer in the making.
Yeah.
And it grew and grew. And he ended up with his collection of over 100 vacuums. And his social media then grew and the story sort of got out there.
And his passion was unbounding as well. He was so politically engaged, wasn't he, as a councillor? And I know that he met many politicians. So, you know, he just had the rest of his life ahead of him.
He was so loving as well. Like, he used to pick up litter, didn't he? He'd go out and he'd pick up the litter.
He would help anyone. He would talk to everybody in the community, young, old. He was caring, sensitive. But that can sometimes be an ADHD trait, that you can be overly sensitive.
Yeah.
Basically, emotional dysregulation can come into it.
He was diagnosed with autism at 14.
Yeah.
At the time, the signs of ADHD were missed. But I suppose, from your point of view, when you have that diagnosis, you go, well, in many ways, great, because that's what we get. That's what we have to work.
That's
with,
exactly what we thought. Yeah, we thought, OK, so that's why Matthew hyper-focuses on maybe one thing.
He's functioning, he's great, he's got a great world, great life.
He'd gone through school and was doing all right, he was getting through, and he'd gone to, or he's going to university. And I remember Chris coming into the bedroom one night and go, how's Matthew going to cope? I think he's got ADHD, there's more behind this. And we then pursued a diagnosis, and he did eventually get diagnosed at 19, but it had been missed from the age of 14 right the way through to 18, 19.
On reflection now, looking back, can you see that all the traits of ADHD? What are those traits that you noticed? And when you look back now, you can go, it was like so obvious.
Lack of focus, inattention to things he wasn't interested in. Disorganisation, everything last minute, if he wanted to do something, I'll do it now. You know, we couldn't say, well, I'll tell you what, should we do that tomorrow? Should we plan? No, I'll do it now, I've got to do it now. And then different focuses. He'd have a hobby and then love that for a while, and then that was it. I'm finished with that. I like doing this now. But he was very sociable, so the autism side, I thought, well, perhaps he's, perhaps this is ADHD as well, but we didn't realise that the two can coexist. We didn't realise that.
And I imagine
that
typically about 80% of people with autism have ADHD as well. It's a co-occurring thing. From the diagnosis that Matthew got, surely they should have looked into that as well.
And what you're saying, I'm sure, resonates with so many viewers at home, whether it's their families or themselves. I listen, you know, you're listing off those character traits, and I was like, I'm a bit like that.
Well,
so you don't think about it, right? Exactly.
But it's when it impacts you. It's when it's persistent and it's showing up in school. You may be having problems. The teacher may be saying, we're having a problem with this young boy, young girl. They're not concentrating. And of course, it does present differently with girls. Girls mask, as we all know. But if this isn't identified early enough, then these layers of self-esteem get battered,
and the child won't understand, well, why do I feel like this? Why can't I learn like X, Y, and Z, my peers?
Yeah.
So ADHD is a brilliant thing. It's a superpower.
And the craziest thing, like, adults are 3 times more likely to use drugs.
Yeah.
They'll have a drug issue,
or
disorder,
alcohol.
well, alcohol,
yeah.
something like that. And our Matthew did struggle with that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, within
From the age of
ADHD, about 50% of people find some form of addiction, whether that be gambling, whether that be drugs, whether that be alcohol, social media. All of those things play into that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people we've come across, you know, are struggling in that area, but actually just don't know that it's linked to ADHD. There's some work being done by Dr. Peter Mason, who's done a research into treating people for ADHD who have got opiates and other drug misuse. And pretty much all of those people that he treated for ADHD came off the drugs.
Or lessened it.
So it's incredibly powerful. And if people can get that understanding and treatment early, then it's not going to affect their lives long term.
As you were just saying there, guys, you know, it can come in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the last thing you want to do today is scare anyone at home.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you've been working with parts of the NHS ADHD task force. Can you tell us what that involves?
Yeah, we, on the back of working with ADHD UK, we did a conference, a global conference, explaining Matthew's story. And there are risks associated with ADHD, but yeah, equally there's a powerful story behind it if it's managed properly.
Yeah.
So we were then asked to join the task force, which is a collection of leading experts, doctors, and also experts by experience, which we're classed as. And we're hopefully coming up with some recommendations
from
to
our
take
point
this
of
forward.
view, our experience.
What would be those, do you think? Just, I mean, obviously you're not there yet, but like, just top of your head, do you think
we need
really
earlier.
to change?
We need earlier diagnosis. We need earlier screening when a child, as young as possible, because if they're going into secondary years and they've struggled in primary, they're only going to struggle more in secondary years, and that's when you've got to be organised. Peer pressure increases, and these kids want to fit in if they're really impacted by it. So you can be a risk taker with ADHD too, due to the impulsivity symptom. And kids will want to be accepted. So there's higher risk-taking behaviours that they'll take just to fit in. So that could be, OK, I'll try that drug. OK, I'll be the one who jumps off that third step where nobody else will. So interestingly, if it really is impacting, and as we're saying, we don't want to scare anybody, of course, Matthew, that made Matthew who he was. And I can tell you this, there's no way that he wanted to do what he did. However, the impulsivity and the lack of being able, with executive function, to stop, think of the consequence, he's followed that through. And that is what we can try and pull back. If somebody knows they do have an impulsive nature, and whether that's associated with ADHD, there are strategies to use resources to be able to stop, think, reflect, and wait.
Well, listen, anything we can do to help in the future, please just come back, talk about it.
Thank you.
Whatever you need, we're here. He was a cherished member of our family, and by extension, you are. And the way you've spoken today...
They would be so proud of what you're doing as well. And you know you've changed the website for the NHS.
We've got that change. And, you know, all we can do is hope we can make a difference in Matthew's name and change the outcome.
He would want to be here. There's no way.
He'd love this.
There's too many stories where children have taken their own life and they've been struggling with ADHD and struggling to get an assessment or referral. So we just need to educate ourselves. Thank you.
Richard, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Now, listen, if you have been affected by any of the issues discussed, help and guidance is available on our This Morning website.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.